What if one of the simplest foods sitting in your kitchen right now could quietly change the way your body ages? While researching this, I stumbled upon a study on older adults that caught me completely off guard. What made it so fascinating was that it went far beyond the standard numbers your doctor checks at a routine visit, like cholesterol or blood pressure. Instead, researchers were looking at chronic inflammation, deep cellular shifts, and even the tiny protective caps at the very ends of your DNA. But there was one finding in particular that, if true, meant we might need to rethink a few things we thought we knew about aging. My initial reaction was, there's no way. So I skipped the news sites and the catchy headlines and pulled up the actual peer-reviewed study. What I found was far more specific than the generic "walnuts are good for you" advice you hear everywhere. Could eating a daily handful of walnuts really impact not just your heart, but the actual rate at which your cells age? I set out to dig through the evidence step by step. Picture two 65-year-olds. They live similar lives and eat similar diets. But researchers took note of one very specific detail. One of them had been eating a handful of walnuts every day for years, while the other almost never touched them. Now fast forward 10 years. Common sense tells you that such a minor daily habit shouldn't make much of a difference a decade down the road. But the data showed the exact opposite. The biggest gap between these two people wasn't their cholesterol or blood pressure. All those years, a completely different process had been quietly unfolding deep inside their cells. Once you see what that process is, you'll understand why researchers got so excited about walnuts in the first place. When researchers at Loma University and Hospital Clínic in Barcelona kicked off this 2-year study, they weren't expecting anything groundbreaking, maybe a slight drop in cholesterol, perhaps minor weight loss, basically the usual outcomes they'd seen 100 times before. But 2 years later, the data painted a completely different picture. They tracked hundreds of healthy older adults for 2 full years. One group ate walnuts regularly, while the control group didn't. At first glance, the difference between them seemed subtle. But when researchers looked beyond routine blood panels, they spotted something remarkable. The walnut group showed a significant drop in markers of low-grade chronic inflammation. Scientists have a name for this exact phenomenon: inflammaging. It sounds complex, but the concept is actually pretty straightforward. When most of us hear the word inflammation, we picture a sprained ankle, a sore throat, or a toothache. That's acute inflammation. A problem pops up, your immune system kicks in, fixes it, and powers down. Inflammaging is entirely different. It's silent. It doesn't throb, it doesn't give you a fever, and most of the time, you don't even know it's happening. Yet it quietly runs in the background for decades, and your body pays the price as you age. Think of it like your smartphone. It's sitting in your pocket with the screen off. You haven't touched it all day, but by evening the battery is down to 30%. Why? Background apps, location services, automated updates. None of them get your attention, but together they slowly drain the battery. That's precisely how inflammaging operates. While you go about your life, it quietly drains your body's reserves behind the scenes, accelerating the aging process. In this trial, published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, eating walnuts regularly looked as if it was shutting down some of those unnecessary background apps. Yet, believe it or not, that wasn't even the finding that excited researchers the most. Because when they looked even deeper into the cells, they discovered an even more surprising clue about how fast we age. Every single cell in your body has its own built-in cleanup crew. Most people don't even know it exists. But when this system starts to slow down, damaged, worn-out components begin to pile up inside your cells. It doesn't happen overnight, it creeps up over years. Eventually, your cells struggle to perform their most basic job, generating the energy that keeps you going. Scientists call this cellular recycling process mitophagy. It sounds technical, but its job is simple. Your cell identifies old, malfunctioning energy generators, clears them out, and makes room for fresh ones to take their place. It's basically your cell's self-renewal warranty. The catch? As we age, this cleanup crew starts slacking off. This is where a compound that experts have been obsessing over lately comes into play: Urolithin A. Now here's the part that blew my mind when I went down this research rabbit hole. Most people assume you get urolithin A directly from eating walnuts. That's actually wrong. Walnuts don't contain urolithin A. You produce it yourself. Or more accurately, the trillions of tiny partners living in your gut do, your microbiome. Walnuts are packed with natural compounds called elagitannins. On their own, these raw materials can't do much. Kind of like a piece of flat-pack furniture delivered to your door. You have all the parts, but someone still needs to assemble them. Your gut bacteria are that assembly crew. They take those raw compounds and convert them into urolithin A, which triggers the cellular cleanup process. So why walnuts instead of almonds, cashews, or peanuts? Because the raw building blocks, polyphenols, your gut bacteria need to produce this cleanup compound are barely present in other nuts. Walnuts are in a league of their own. That's why walnuts consistently take center stage in clinical trials on cellular aging, while other nuts barely get a mention. Here's the honest caveat researchers point out. Not everyone's gut bacteria handle this conversion the same way. Scientists group people into different urolithin metabotypes. Most of us produce at least some urolithin A from walnuts, but a smaller share of people barely produce any, regardless of how many walnuts they eat. So it's not a guarantee for absolutely everyone. But for most people, it really does come down to consistently supplying your gut with the right raw materials, day after day. And clearing out cellular trash was only step one. Next, the research team turned their attention to something even more sensitive: how this cellular maintenance directly connects to the rate at which our brains age. Crack open a walnut shell and look at the nut inside. Two lobed halves, intricate folds, tiny ridges. Let's be honest, it looks eerily like a miniature human brain. Centuries ago, long before modern nutritional science existed, people noticed this resemblance and thought, this can't be a coincidence. This belief even had an official name, the doctrine of signatures. The theory was that the physical shape of a food was a divine clue pointing to the organ it was meant to heal. Sliced carrots looked like eyes, so they were good for vision. Kidney beans looked like kidneys, so they protected renal health. Let's be real, 99% of that was pure myth. Food doesn't heal an organ just because it happens to look like it. But walnuts turned out to be one of those super rare, strange exceptions. Modern science has revealed that walnuts are exceptionally rich in ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, the plant-based omega-3 fatty acid your brain directly relies on. In fact, they contain far more ALA than any other tree nut. Decades of large observational studies show a consistent trend. People who regularly eat walnuts maintain stronger memory function and face a lower risk of cognitive decline as they age. Is it absolute proof? Not quite, but it's a remarkably consistent pattern that pops up across different countries and age groups. So no, walnuts aren't good for your brain because they look like one. That part is just a fun coincidence. But every once in a while, ancient folk intuition and modern hard science land on the exact same page. There's a reality about nutrition research that almost nobody talks about, especially if you're over 50. The vast majority of nutrition studies are conducted on 20-something college students, and then the findings get generalized to everyone else. This 2-year study was different. It was conducted directly on people in your age group. The average participant was 69 years old. The research team didn't stop at measuring inflammation. They tested cognitive performance too. In the Barcelona cohort, participants who ate walnuts regularly showed improved global cognitive scores compared to the control group, roughly equivalent to 1.3 fewer years of brain aging. Worth being upfront about, though, this was a secondary after-the-fact finding, so think of it less as walnuts proven to boost your brain and more as a promising lead that researchers themselves say needs to be confirmed. And there was another finding worth knowing about for adults over 50. Blood sugar control and insulin resistance. Walnuts have an extremely low glycemic load. Their unique combination of healthy fats, dietary fiber, and plant protein acts like a natural brake on your digestive system. Some studies suggest that adding walnuts to a meal can help slow the rate at which carbohydrates enter your bloodstream, though the evidence here is more mixed than it is for heart and inflammation markers. For anyone dealing with insulin resistance or managing type 2 diabetes, that mechanism may help take the edge off post-meal blood sugar spikes. But walnuts aren't a substitute for your treatment plan, so it's worth running this past your doctor if blood sugar is something you're managing. Now, what about that other major concern that looms large as we get older? Our bones? The researchers were curious, so they measured bone density as well. And after 2 full years, there was zero change. Walnuts didn't move the needle on bone health at all. The fact that this study candidly reported we found no effect on bone density makes their findings on cellular maintenance and inflammation all the more credible. And what they discovered next regarding our DNA caps takes this story to a whole new level. Walnuts don't just spark cellular recycling and support brain health. They also appear to protect a microscopic structure deep inside your genetics. At the very tip of every DNA strand, you have tiny protective caps called telomeres. Think of them like the small plastic tips on the ends of your shoelaces. When those plastic tips wear off, the shoelace starts to fray. Similarly, every time your cells divide, your telomeres get a little bit shorter. Eventually, that protective cap is gone, and the cell can no longer replicate. That is how our bodies age at a cellular level. Detecting any measurable shift in telomeres during a nutrition study is notoriously difficult. Going in, no one on the research team expected to see much. Yet, when they analyzed the 2-year data, they found something unexpected. The control group experienced the usual age-related telomere shortening, but in the walnut group, that rate of shortening slowed down noticeably. 2 years is a relatively short window to track telomere changes. Even so, the finding made waves in the medical literature. The idea that a simple staple in your pantry could help support your DNA's protective shields is remarkable. Of all the findings in this study, this was the one that gave me the most food for thought. That's why I don't waste time chasing the latest fad diets or viral health trends that pop up every week. Instead, I wade through hundreds of pages of raw data in medical journals. My goal isn't to sell you on miracles, it's to lay out the evidence honestly, so you can see what's backed by science and what's just noise. If you appreciate this kind of grounded, evidence-based approach over sensationalized headlines, dropping a quick like on the video goes a long way. It lets me know I'm on the right track. As you've been listening to all of this, a very fair question might have crossed your mind. Wait a second. Couldn't it just be that people who eat walnuts are healthier and take better care of themselves to begin with? That is a fantastic question. In fact, it's the exact reason this study is so valuable. The researchers didn't just stand back and observe people's existing habits. Regardless of their lifestyle, income, or health background, participants were randomly assigned into 2 groups, and one group was given a daily serving of walnuts. In other words, the improvements in cellular cleanup and telomere support weren't just because those people already lived healthier lives. They were the direct result of adding walnuts themselves to the diet. And when you pair that clinical trial design with the underlying gut microbiome mechanisms, the full picture becomes crystal clear. Let's pull all these pieces together and look at the big picture. 2 landmark long-term health studies in the United States followed nearly 100,000 people over a 20-year period. The result? Individuals who ate walnuts 5 or more times a week had a significantly lower risk of heart disease and chronic illness compared to those who rarely ate them. Researchers even estimated that establishing a regular walnut habit could add over a year of life expectancy after age 60. Take a second to think about what that really means. Not through overpriced supplements, not through invasive procedures or complex medications, just a simple handful of walnuts, most days, year after year. Giving your cells the fundamental raw materials they need to do their job, day in, day out. At the end of the day, it really is that simple. Before we wrap up, let's talk practical application. How do you actually fit this into your daily routine? First off, don't buy a massive bulk bag and leave it sitting in your pantry for 6 months. Walnuts are loaded with healthy fats, which is fantastic, but it also means they oxidize quickly in heat. If your walnuts taste bitter or have a faint paint-like odor, those fats have gone rancid, and much of the nutritional value is gone. Buy smaller quantities or store them in the fridge or freezer. You don't need anything fancy. Plain, raw walnuts are ideal. Lightly roasted works too. Just avoid the ones loaded with added oils, sugar, or excessive sodium. If you want to maximize nutrient absorption, crumble them over a salad dressed with extra virgin olive oil. Walnuts contain fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin E and vitamin K, and pairing them with healthy fats from olive oil dramatically increases how much of those antioxidants your body actually absorbs. Now let's address a common trap. Say you forgot to eat walnuts all week and then Sunday night rolls around. You think, let me catch up, and eat a giant bowl all at once. Does that work? Not really. Your gut bacteria and that cellular cleanup crew don't operate once a week. They're active every single day. Binging on Sunday night just dumps extra calories into your system. What your cells actually thrive on is a small, consistent supply over time. You might also wonder, walnuts are calorie dense. Won't eating them every day cause weight gain? Researchers uncovered a fascinating detail here. People who eat walnuts tend to experience fewer cravings for ultra-processed foods throughout the day, naturally gravitating toward healthier choices. So walnuts don't just provide nutrients, they help settle your brain's reward center, curbing bad snacking habits down the line. Still, portion control matters. The optimal amount suggested by clinical research is about 6 to 7 whole walnuts a day, roughly 14 halves or 1 ounce. Overdoing it won't double the benefits. The high fat and fiber content can cause digestive upset, bloating, or unwanted weight gain, which can defeat the purpose of managing blood sugar. Also, because walnuts contain oxalates, if you have a history of kidney stones, nut allergies, or are on blood thinners, it's always smart to check in with your doctor first. As for timing, morning or evening, on an empty stomach or with a meal. While timing doesn't change overall nutrient absorption, here's an interesting detail. Walnuts are one of the few natural plant sources rich in melatonin, the hormone that regulates your sleep-wake cycle. Eating a few walnuts as an evening snack or with dinner can help signal to your brain that it's time to wind down, supporting deeper, more restorative sleep. As you know, I don't churn out rushed videos just to fill a calendar or chase the algorithm. I prefer taking the time to parse through raw medical studies to bring you honest, independent, and evidence-based insights. If you value this kind of no-nonsense approach to health, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next deep dive. How about you? Do you already eat walnuts regularly, or are you thinking about starting after watching this? Drop a comment below. I read through all of them. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. Remember, the biggest changes in our health rarely come from drastic overhauls. They start with the smallest habits we repeat every single day.